Hello guys, it's Michal, your favorite pastry chef. Welcome to my channel. Today's video will be about piping tips. There are really so many of them, different shapes, and can get really confusing when you think about which one should I use or what can I create with them. So I'm going to pick 9 of these and I'm going to show you how you can use them and what kind of pattern you can create with them, with a little surprise at the end of this video. So don't forget to watch till the end.
The first piping tip we'll start with is this thin teardrop shaped tip. In my opinion, it's very versatile and can be used for many different decorations. We'll begin with these small legs, but as you can see, because the tip is so thin, they never stand perfectly straight and tend to lean slightly to the side. My favorite way to use this tip is for a spiral. The tip is held horizontally, and when you simply change the direction of your hand, the pattern changes completely. By turning movement, the design flips upside down and you get a very different look without changing the tip. This tip is also great for classic straight lines, but you need to work very gently and guide it carefully to keep the line straight. This wave pattern is a real classic. When you change the angle of your hand and pipe from a higher position, the waves become more closed and get a wider base. You can also use this tip for small drops of cream. These can be layered on top of each other or placed around in a circle. It's basically the same shape, just turned upside down. It also works nicely for waves where one side is wider and the other side is thinner. Even this uneven look has its own charm and looks very elegant. Now, you can see all the basic shapes that can be made with this tip. Of course, there are many more possibilities, but these examples show how universal this tip really is. Next, we move on to the smooth round piping tip. This one is my absolute favorite. It's a classic shape and extremely versatile. You can create individual portions of cream, and depending on the height and pressure you use, the result will always look a little different. It's perfect for straight, tube-like shapes. Just remember not to apply more pressure than the diameter of the tip, otherwise the shape won't look clean. This tip can also create a beautiful smooth spiral. You can change the direction, but in this case the visual difference is minimal. You can use it also to create simple leaf-like shapes. If you hold the pipe lower and press quickly, then you'll get a wide flat portion of cream, as you can see. This tip can do a lot, and everything depends on your hands and your control. Another tip I like to use is a closed tip with fine ridges. It creates a delicate and elegant pattern. You can pipe basic portions of cream. As you can see, you can pull them upwards for height or keep the tip lower to create wider bases. It's also great for creating elongate shapes. The classic use is for piping cream upwards, for example, in your choux pastry. This is real classic of this piping tip. One of my favorite effects with this tip is this braided shape, which almost looks like a plated bun. From this shape you can also create small leaves that can be layered or placed next to each other. The fine ridges show best with firmer creams. With softer creams, the pattern won't be as sharp. The next piping tip we see is a flat tip. One side has ridges and the other side is smooth. Its most common use is for flat piping of cream. From one side, the pattern is ridged, and when you turn the tip, the top becomes smooth. It's perfect for creating wave patterns. The ridges are kept on the top, where they can create a beautiful texture. This kind of wave works especially well as a decoration on long desserts. This tip is also excellent for making spirals. The spiral looks best when the rigid side is facing up, as you can see here. If you're not afraid to experiment, you can also use this tip to create leaf-like shapes. These can be layered on top of each other, or you can pipe a wider curve and see how the shape and texture of the cream changes. The shapes can be placed close together to create a leaf effect, or used individually as a separate decorative elements. Now you can see all the different decorations that can be made with this piping tip. This next tip is the least universal of all the ones I use. It's a tip that's mainly suitable for a Saint Honoré and for this specific shape, which it can do absolutely perfectly. The base is always nice and stable, and it allows you to create beautiful elongated shapes that can be layered on top of each other. There isn't much else you can do with it, but for this one purpose, it's absolutely perfect and does exactly what it's designed for, which is this classic Saint Honoré shape. You can see how nicely it can be layered and how fantastically it holds its shape. On the back you can see also that I've tried other shapes. It can be used for them, but it's simply the best for this one. Our next tip has a rougher texture and deeper grooves. It's a very versatile tip that gives the cream sort of a rustic look. It's especially good for creams with a slightly looser consistency, because the pattern stays visible. It's very good when you make a classic spiral with it, like you will see now. It looks really nice and it's very easy to use. You can also use it to make leaf-like shapes that can be layered on top of each other or next to each other. It depends just on you. It's also great for elongated shapes. As you can see, if you stop squeezing a little before the end and pull the cream, you get a long shape with a tips pattern that tapers towards you. Here you can see up close what the rough grooves of this tip look like. Like I said, it has a more rustic look, but it's very pretty. This tip is similar to the one used for Saint Honoré, but because of the cutout in the tip, it's much more versatile. So let's take a closer look at it. The basic shape you can make is these individual leaf-like pieces or portions of cream that can be placed next to each other, but they also stand well on their own. They have a nice white base, so they won't collapse. The classic use for this tip is this wave pattern, which is simple but very effective. Once you change the angle, you can also layer shapes with this tip that are very similar to the ones used for Saint Honoré. It's up to you whether you stack them to create the effect you see here or you use them separately. It's completely up to your creativity and your idea. Even though it's a bit thicker, the spiral I'm making right now still looks very nice and the pattern stays clearly visible. So this is another one of my favorite tips that is very versatile and can be used in many different ways. This next tip is traditionally used in the Czech Republic for a dessert called špička. Its purpose is to create a hollow shape or a hollow cylinder. For this demonstration, I used meringue, which is not ideal for this tip because it collapses easily and doesn't hold its shape well. This tip works much better with firmer creams, such as a buttercream or a thicker whipped ganache. With these creams, you can pipe a hollow structure upwards without using silicone molds, which is exactly what this tip is designed for. That was a demonstration of several piping tips I like to use. At the end of the video, as I promised, I'll use different tips to create one decorative pattern. This will show how the different techniques you've just seen can be combined together. Let me know in the comments which piping tip is your favorite, which one you saw for the first time, or which one you would like to try. For me, working with piping tips is a pastry chef's signature. It's a basic skill that everyone should learn, and everyone can find their own creative style. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I wish you a lot of success in your pastry work, and I look forward to see you in the next video. So, ciao.